Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Poisoners Almanac podcast. I am your co-host, Adam.
I'm Rebecca.
How you doing, sweetie?
All right.
Yeah.
Hanging in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
October's gone by way too fast. I'm a little mad about that.
You've had so much going on.
Yeah, it's annoying. And September didn't go by this fast. Why didn't it go by this fast?
Your camera is shaking like crazy. You're messing with your hands and your elbows on the table.
Oh, no more shakiness.
So yeah, it's been busy. Our daughter turned 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I'm tired. Had way too many social functions lately. Don't appreciate that. I will not be socializing anymore for some
You
time.
decided to stop.
I have.
Yes. Let's jump into some comments on Spotify here.
I have a comment. Technically it's a DM, but they said I could share it.
Mhm.
So this is from Blaufrosch on Instagrams. Thoughts on your most recent episode? Number 1, Henry VIII got that injury when he was in his mid-40s and married to Anne Boleyn, which was wife number 2. She was pregnant at the time of the incident and had a miscarriage. She claimed the stress she felt upon hearing about his injury was the reason she lost the baby. Tudor era England, as well as a bit before and after, is one of my special interests. Yeah, that the Tudor period, pretty fascinating, pretty crazy times.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, did you guys know Twilight was written by a Mormon? I did know that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Stephanie
Meyer.
Stephanie Meyer, yeah.
I know that because of Pastor Mark Driscoll.
Who is himself
an absolute nut job.
Crazy, yeah. Says, and is very Mormon coded. There is an ex-Mormon lady I follow on YouTube, Alyssa Grenfell, who did a video about Twilight, and it was fascinating.
Excuse me, I have the hiccups. I'm sorry, y'all.
Not the hiccups. The colons represent living your life according to the true doctrine. Carlisle is compared to Joseph Smith. Yikes.
Yeah.
And the Volturi are compared to the Catholic Church. I'm guessing those are like bad guys.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that there's some tension between the two religions. Number 3, I think the zombie movie you were trying to name is Shaun of the Dead, starring Simon Pegg, who is also Scotty from Star Trek.
Yes.
I like Simon Pegg. He's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is number 4. The whole clinically dead versus actually dead makes me think of the scene from Princess Bride where Miracle Max discusses the difference between all dead and mostly dead.
He's only mostly dead.
Why do you want someone that the king's thinking son fired?
Go through his pockets and look for loose change.
Liar! Liar!
Get away, witch.
I'm not a witch anyway. Anyway, which made Adam's joke later in the episode about the Dread Pirate Roberts threatening to kill Wesley, my dog's namesake, so much funnier. Lastly, thank you both and Camilla for all you do for this podcast.
Oh.
And now I want to watch Princess Bride.
Exactly. Fun boy.
Boo! Bow down.
The queen of putrescence.
So many good parts of that movie.
Yes. All right, let's check out comments on Spotify. Iosa, or is it Losa? I think that's a capital I. She says, they say, I can confirm there's a Raven Master at the Tower of London, and they do. Excuse me.
You good?
I'm good. There's a Raven Master at the Tower of London, and they do clip the wings. Mm-hmm. They have 7. They have 7, which is apparently the minimum requirement, plus 1 extra as a spare. Legend states that if the ravens ever leave the tower,
maybe you should take a break.
The kingdom will fall.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're like, I want to be like the spare raven? Someone needs to write a story about being the spare raven.
The perspective of the spare raven.
The spare raven.
I am the spare raven.
Who, me? Nah, I'm just a worm.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Because you ate that piece of bread too fast.
I did. I was trying to get back, sit down and knock this episode out.
You need to go sit with the spare raven.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm laughing and hiccuping at the same time.
Can we have the spare raven take his place, please?
Okay. And then Ari Alma replies to that comment, I love this. And also, poor ravens now. Do they get a proportionally ridiculously royal treatment and treats?
You best believe they wouldn't have to clip the wings of those ravens if I was the Raven Master, because they would be fat with treats.
100%. All the ravens would be too fat to fly.
Yeah.
There'd be like a 10% success rate for flight of the raven.
Pudgy ravens. Those are the biggest ravens I've ever seen. I'm like, thank you. They're my buddies.
Those ravens would be diagnosed with diabetes.
I do my best.
Excuse me.
They bring me all kinds of goodies, all sorts of shiny things.
Ariama also has her own comment here. She says, hey, the burning of witches. Was it ever about sorcery, black magic, or fear of any of that? Wasn't it about misogyny, control, and power? Yes. I believe so.
I think the whole sorcery thing, because they would see women as the ones who were mostly doing the witchcraft, and women can't have control. They're going to tell the church.
Or was it because they themselves believed in rituals at all?
I think it was kind of both, but I think the misogyny was probably a little bit subconscious for a lot of people. Like, I mean, they were misogynists outwardly, so obviously,
extremely patriarchal.
But I think, like, with the witchcraft stuff, because they definitely believed in it. They were believing in the witchcraft, but I think subconsciously they were already assuming, well, yeah, women, because it's women, right? There were some men that were also, executed, but definitely misogyny.
Yeah. Or was it because they themselves believed in rituals and stuff that they were so convincing of their own lies? Also, what about gaslighting? A whole episode, I hear you say. Yes, please. Okay, love you. Bye.
Like,
excuse me.
I think you need to gaslight those hiccups. I think too. Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of that with the witchcraft stuff, because they definitely believed in some supernatural things and some superstitious things. That there were some ministers that I remember reading about that actually stood up for those accused. They would just get executed along with them.
Yes.
I think a lot of it was about control, but definitely misogyny too.
Certainly.
I mean, they wrote whole books on the matter, like the Malleus Maleficarum, Hammer of the Witches, what to look for when you go on witch hunts. I think some of these men really enjoyed the power of being, judge and executioner too.
Sure.
So whether they realize it or not.
Of course. And they knew implicitly they're part of the founding members of a new country, a new nation.
Well, we're talking about the American one, but there was some over in Europe too.
Right. Yeah. So they
the Salem witch trials, I think, is
sure.
Yeah.
So if they solidify their power now, they're they're solidifying their power for the history of a nation.
I mean, I feel like if you're naming women Prudence, you're kind of solidifying power in a way, and like making them do all this. And it was also girls who were throwing the fits. So it's like, and we've discussed in part, perhaps the ergot fungus theory, but also, the way girls and women are treated back in the day. It's like, it could be a number of things too.
Yep. Blaufrosch also has a comment on Spotify. Won't confirm or deny if this podcast is my favorite, but I chose my words with intent.
I like it.
Both are cool, and I love all the stuff I get to learn, but this one feels cozy in an ADHD sort of way.
Yeah. I have like several favorite podcasts.
Yeah. The community's great too, and it's amazing to feel like I'm seen and heard. Plus, not gonna lie, it makes my day to hear my comments read and that people actually find value in my special interest fun facts. I have a lot of thoughts for this episode. We'll send a DM on Insta because Spotify doesn't allow long comments.
I really enjoyed reading all those too. I love when people send me stuff.
Thomas Paris says, 2 birds with 1 stone, maybe? I think he's referring to idioms.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I was thinking about idioms the other day, right? Where it's like, what is that one where it's like, is it like a bird in the bush is better than
worth 2 in the hand? Excuse me. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, but you can't make him drink.
No, you just made that whole thing up. But I was thinking about I said something, but I like basically just substituted the bird. I don't even know what it is anymore. Is it a bird or is it a stone?
A bird a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. That's the idiom.
Why though?
What?
I mean, I don't mean to get into this right now, but why is a bird in the hand? Why do you need a bird in your hand? Why are there? Because
apparently you're hunting birds.
But you don't hunt them by just grabbing them out of bushes. Right?
That's a great point.
Like, I don't understand.
I actually never thought about that.
Why is it like that?
Oh.
Shouldn't it be more like if you're hunting birds to like eat or something back in the day, you would be like a bird on the table is better than two in the tree.
That makes sense.
Why does it not make sense?
Why are you grabbing birds out of bushes?
Who's doing that? Anyway, I forgot what I actually like substituted it with, but I was thinking about that particular one this week.
Remind me to make a video about that.
And I could not remember.
Hysterical.
I could not remember if it was like birds or stones in the bush. I'm like, is it a stone in the bush or is it a bird in the bush? Why would you pick out stones anyway? Anyway.
People in glass houses shouldn't throw rocks.
Why are you in a glass house? I'm sorry. We need to go. We need to move on because this is going to be.
Do you know who Mitch Hedberg is? The stand-up comic. He passed away from heroin overdose. Okay.
I probably know if I saw him.
You would. He had the best one-liners. That was his entire act.
Wait, did he have like the glasses?
Yes.
He always looked.
Mitch Hedberg.
He always looked a little bit stoned.
Yes. He said, "They say people in glass houses shouldn't throw rocks. How about don't throw rocks?"
True. I mean, maybe don't throw rocks or live in glass houses. What do you?
I just love that you went straight for why are you living in a glass house?
What do you throw if you're in like a brick house?
There again,
Birds?
Why are you throwing things? Birds?
Oh no!
The bird that you stole from the bush.
Yeah. Also, how dare you steal the bird from the bush? Like
that was probably their house.
You need to go read a fable. That's what you need to go do. Read some fables and see what happens when you mess with these poor animals. Because I know the fables are like these tales that are usually told with animals, right?
And the animals come back and kill the stupid people.
Usually a fox or a wolf.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Anyway,
All right. Let's jump to housekeeping. Thank you for following us on whatever platform you're watching or listening on. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and leaving 5-star reviews. Those are piling up on Spotify especially. We appreciate that. Follow us on socials. We have links in the show notes to follow our personal socials and also the dedicated podcast channels. Patreon is up and running. A link in the show notes to join and support the podcast financially if you'd like to. We have 3 different tiers right now. The $1 a month tier gets you weekly bonus episodes, option to leave us a voicemail that we play and react to on the podcast, and you get shouted out by name. The $3 tier includes all that plus the poison in the news segments that we do every week. And then the $5 tier includes all of that and also includes the Camilla-sodes, which are educational, exploration.
Family-oriented.
Yes, family-oriented.
Getting outside.
Yep.
Things like that. But we're also doing some neurodivergent talk as well. So I'll be, we just did a recording for one of those. So I'll be putting that up for the $5
It's our
tier
first
as well this week.
It's about a half-hour episode where we discuss neurodivergent issues, being in a neuromixed relationship and how we navigate that. So,
and I keep saying this, I'm gonna do some lives on Discord. I'm actually gonna try this week because
you only have so much bandwidth.
I know I don't have as much going on this week, so I think it'll be a lot easier to just sit down and like figure that out. So
can you go back and watch a live stream on Discord?
I don't know.
Okay,
we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
We're learning together.
That's right. Speaking of getting shouted out on the podcast, those people are as follows: 87 Pens Girl 71, Mara Santiago, Grace Lahan, Genevieve, Nahev Shatreet, Jay Went, Incan Hafter, Kira Yorsek, Tay of Sunshine, Monique, Shane R, Sue Steves, James Mills, Megan Geiler, Liz B, Willie Wolf NZ, Mama G, Nicole Rivers, Richard Miyako, Heather Nolan, Kaylee, Sasha Rubel, Maya Shostak, Maggie's Yarm, Ogre the Viking, Lynn Rocket, Brett Moser, Zaid, Neil Houdini, Nicole Crane, Jefferson Vargas, Carmen Q, Sarah G, Knittin Ninja, Estar, Olive Octopus, Betsy Rich, T-Bug, Christine Moljadi, Morgan Brittingham, Blaufrosch, a.k.a. Clara Jurisons, Vix, Anne Maria, Carl Ziegler Jr., Clyde, Jennifer Wilson Richter, Too Fidgety, Wendy G, Elena MK, Caitlin Martin, Pungrammed 101, Minnesota SPT, Tasha, Stuart Slattery, Simone Valdez, Christian Schradergaard, Bonnie, Omadi, Ryanel Alara, Kristen Arnold, Aaron Carey, Lynn Simpson, Melissa Emmel, Desiree Davis, Jennifer Ramirez Johnson, Dalek Party, The Warped Witch, Dizzy Dancer, Creative Otter, Yadmit, Supergirl Sway, Rachel, Anya Brandt, Ebby, Leah Marie Matson, Lady Digitalis, Jesse, Shay 10, Julia Franzoni, Sparks, Gloria Eichmann, Thomas Huff from Strange to Things, Soy Kasumi, Jessica Gasparini, Robert Jr., Kate Lennon, Donna Lanjanese, Lauren Smith, Anna G, Serpentine Fire, Melanie the SLP, Stuart Lee, Solstice, Chris Millanak, Mackenzie Kennedy, Libby, Hetty, Hantapalooza, J Moon, Kelsey H, Paper Sky, Hannah Cook, Nikki Larkin, Campasar, Britt Clark, Paris Longer, Andrea, Shameless Agitator, Ruby Salazar, Cassandra Smiles, Liam, Daniel Soray, Jasmine, Kapow 73, and please welcome our newest patron, Dr. Doom.
I see you here learning how to poison people.
Dr. Doom. The $10 a month tier now available.
Oh my God.
So we were joking that we should add a $10 a month tier so Beck can teach you how to poison your annoying husband.
Here's what you're going to need.
Here's how you do it.
And honestly, it doesn't take much. But
so today's topic is?
We are finishing up some stuff on the vampire stuff, right? Because we're still in our spooky season era. And actually, I'm kind of always in my spooky season era.
You are. So it's always October for you.
Here we are. But I want to discuss Vlad the Impaler. So, and this is, his name was also Vlad Dracula. So where the name Dracula actually kind of comes from. So now, just trigger warning, there is going to be some gory description in here. He did some crazy stuff, or he allegedly did some crazy stuff. I mean, the stories do go back as far as he was. So yeah, so we're going to talk about some stuff that he did, and it can be kind of violent. So just trigger warning for that. And also when we get to places where I feel like it's especially like mentions of gore, violence, that kind of stuff, I'll just mention it to you. Maybe you can put a timestamp on it. I could kind of put where those things are too. So, because we're talking about a lot of history too that doesn't include that. So, if you want to enjoy that, but skip the gore, I feel you.
Gotcha.
So,
good to know.
Now, I know last week we discussed the history of vampires in various cultures. We talked about the Blood Countess, or Elizabeth Bathory, and how she was some inspiration for vampire figures and characters that we know today, right? And there's been, quite a few, but these are just kind of the more notable ones from history that we can talk about. Today, we need to talk about sort of the main source of inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula, and therefore the inspiration for the more modern vampire, even with the current, love story side attached as it is now in many novels. The vampire characteristics are still pretty similar to that of Dracula, with the fangs and the neck biting and the drinking of blood, pale as death. I'm not a vampire. Undead type creatures sleeping in coffins for some, hurt by the sun for some, or, getting sparkly for others, I guess, Yeah. But this historic influence for the character that Stoker created was a man born in Transylvania between 1428 and 1431 named Vlad III Dracula. He was the second son of 4 of his father Vlad II Dracul, who became ruler. There it's said voivode, or prince is what it translates to, of Wallachia. You know what? Let me see how you say it in Romanian. Thank you. Got it. Wallachia. We're just going to say Wallachia. Just making sure, I don't want somebody from Wallachia coming after me. I'm not trying to get impaled today, okay? Now, this is in the south of Romania. Vlad II Dracul became leader of this area in 1436. Dracula's, Vlad III's mother, Eupraxia of Moldavia, that's who his mother was. I think she had like another name somewhere else too, but we won't go into all that. Now, during the 14th century, the ruler, or voivode, was usually a member of the House of Basarab. However, they broke into two rival families. You had the House of Draculesti, those of Vlad's descendants, and the House of Danesti, which the descendants of Dan the First. So control over Wallachia alternated between those factions, basically. Now, Vlad II did not just become ruler, he seized power of Wallachia with the support of Hungary when the previous ruler and his half-brother, Alexander Aldea of the House of Basarab, died. Now, just so you know, I'm giving you some history, and there's going to be names, and there's a lot of going back and forth politically here. So the reason why I'm giving you a lot of this early history, too, is so you can, like, understand the actual story of Dracula.
All right.
Okay. Gotcha. You're going to hear a lot of Vlad the Firsts, Vlad the Seconds, Vlad the Thirds. I'm like, can y'all not get a little more original? Okay. So just stick with me here. We'll get through this.
Mm-hmm.
So Dracula just means son of Dracul, which was the name taken by his father. And Dracul means dragon or devil, depending on the use. Vlad III was given his name Dracula by his father, who inducted him into the same order that he was a part of, the Order of the Dragon, which is where Dad had received the name Dracul from. Okay. This was a chivalric order of aristocratic nobles and monarchs started by the Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund of Luxembourg and was put together to defend against the Ottoman Empire and to protect the Hungarian monarchy from foreign and domestic enemies and the Catholic Church from heretics and pagans. So.
Got it.
Gotcha. Now, those who were a part of this order wore such symbols as the Red Cross of St. George, which was their patron saint because apparently, according to legend, he had slain a dragon, and the Ouroboros, which was an older symbol known from alchemical texts, Gnostic texts, and Hermeticism. I want to say the Ouroboros. That name sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard it in a movie too. Anyway.
It's in Destiny.
Ouroboros?
There's a location called that. Yeah, it's part of the oh Lord. It's part of the deep lore with Eris Morn and her journey to become a hive god. Mm-hmm. It's a good storyline. I am still excited to make that episode about Destiny lore.
Yeah, you haven't done that yet. We gotta do that too.
Well, you said I should wait till like Thanksgiving or something.
Well, because you'll have off. You'll be able to actually have room in your schedule to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, the Ouroboros, which is just fun to say. Now, this symbol, and maybe it shows this in your Destiny game as well. This Ouroboros symbol involves the image of a snake or a dragon eating its own tail, basically.
Okay.
Now, things with Vlad II, how, Daddy Vladdy, if you will, got complicated because Hungary and the order had weakened a year after he took power when the founder of the Order of the Dragon, that Holy Roman Emperor dude Sigismund, died, right? Even though he was in the Order of the Dragon, siding with Hungary, he also swore fealty at this time to the Ottoman Sultan, Murad II, which is weird because it's like you join the order against the same guy that you're swearing fealty to now. Anyway, that's why I said there's a lot of this. So in order to understand, we started to go back to the beginning. Now, yeah, he helped Murad II invade Transylvania, which is more in the northwestern part of Romania, in the summer of 1438. By 1441, Vlad II, Dad Vlad, had been convinced by the leader of Transylvania, John Hunyadi. Literally, like John, I feel like is the only like normal name. Well, that and Dan.
That's
Dan's
so
in here too.
Okay.
There's a Dan in here too. Anyway.
Johnny, Danny, the boys.
So John Hunyadi and the Hungarians to go after the Ottomans in their crusade. Now, Hunyadi defeated an Ottoman army in Transylvania, but instead of joining as he said he would, Vlad II, Vlad was like, hey, we'll do this together. But Vlad II just stayed in Wallachia. He was just like, oh, you're good. You're fine. You got this taken care of. So he kind of just abandoned him after he was like, yeah, we'll do this together. Now, after these events, the Ottoman Sultan Murad II ordered Vlad II to come to him in Eldern in Turkey, which is the Ottoman capital at one point. So he went and he was captured upon arrival. He just shows up and he's like, well, I guess I'm a prisoner now. This is in 1442. I'm not sure what Vlad II thought was going to happen, but okay. I'm guessing it's because he heard that he had made this sort of alliance with Hunyadi, even though he didn't even show up. Here we are. The amount of brain power it took me this week to be like, I thought he was on this side. Why is he over here now? What is going on? But through many different sources, I finally figured some stuff out. So here we go. Yeah. At that point, Hunyadi took advantage of the situation now that Vlad II was gone, and he invaded Wallachia and made Vlad II's cousin, Basarab II, ruler there. I mean, he was probably a bit salty at being let down or abandoned by Vlad II, too. So it's not like Vlad II was making friends really well. Now, this was all important to say because in order to get out and get back to Wallachia, Vlad II would have to leave two of his sons behind. And these were Vlad III, our dear Dracula, if you will, and Radu, known as Radu the Handsome. I could not stop thinking about spaghetti sauce because I kept thinking Ragu. Radu the Handsome.
Ragu the Handsome.
Now, but if you look at the rest of his family, I'm like, well, by default, like, no offense. Look him up. Look up the rest of his family. Like, I'm sorry, but Dracula, he's got like this pointed nose, and he looks like he looks not so nice.
What's that animated film where Adam Sandler plays Dracula? Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah. Those are funny though. You've got these two sons are being left as hostages, and this is supposed to be a testament to his loyalty. By leaving his two sons there, they'll let him out. Kind of messed up, I know. So I should mention also that at this time, Vlad III was only 11 years old. So dad is just kind of leaving him as a hostage in this prison so he can go back and rule his country, right?
Okay.
So Vlad II was restored to power in Wallachia by the next year in 1443 with the support of the Ottomans. Okay. He left his kids behind. Ottomans were like, okay, we'll support you in this since, we've got hostages. We've got, collateral, I guess. Now, to round out Dad's story, Vlad II remained neutral in Hunyadi's campaign against the Ottomans between 1443 and 1444, but he later sent some troops to assist against the Ottomans during the Crusade of Varna, which was this collective European attempt to stop the Ottoman expansion. Now, with help, they did capture one significant fortress, but Vlad II made peace with the Ottoman Empire again in 1446 to 1447, which made him enemies again with Hunyadi. It's this like he's over here, he's on the left side, he's on the right side, I'm on the east side, I'm on the west side. He keeps going back and forth between these people. And I can't help but think like he's just selfish, like he's just doing what's best for him. So he makes peace with the Ottomans after sending troops to help get rid of the Ottoman Empire. And now that he's made peace with the Ottoman Empire again, now him and Hunyadi, who is over with Hungary. Okay. Yeah, now they're mad at each other.
Okay.
When you read this stuff, you're like, these guys are so dramatic. It's like watching an episode of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's like,
what a comparison.
Why isn't there? They need to do like a What We Do in the Shadows spinoff of like just this whole era. And I'm pretty sure like Nandor the Relentless is from the Ottoman Empire.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, he's Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think he was a leader in the army there or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, moving on
He's
from there.
basically like he's part of like the royal family or something like that.
I wouldn't relent.
No, we are looting you equally.
We're pillaging everyone, you included. He's one of my favorites. Anyway, So he's enemies again with Hunyadi, who invaded Wallachia again. And Vlad II ends up dead this time, soon after, while attempting to flee, right? Vlad II's, and this is going to be a little, this is a bit violent, not super violent, but not fun either. Vlad II's eldest son was captured by boyars, these noble-born Romanians, and he was blinded with a hot poker before being buried alive.
All right.
People here were brutal, okay? In this timeline, it was brutal.
Okay.
That's honestly mild for what we're going to get into, so. hang in there.
Okay.
Hunyadi John set up Vlad II's cousin, Vladislav, who was also called Dan,
Okay.
as Walachia's new ruler. I don't know how people are not like getting confused with them. We got Vlad II, we got Vlad III, we got Vladislav, and then there's Dan. Well, Vladislav is called Dan, so. Okay. So let's move on to our main dude, Vlad III, or Vlad Dracula, if you will. In 1448, after the death of his father and older brother, Vlad III is released by the Ottomans. He'd been held hostage all these years, and they help him retake Wallachia, setting him up there as ruler for a few months at least. And part of me is like, okay, so you release a prisoner, you take him back, and you're like, okay, you're going to rule this place, even though you were a hostage of ours for a long time. I guess because they really didn't like the other guy. Maybe they thought they had enough influence with this guy now. Here we are. Okay. Yeah. I'm telling you, this would be a great show. Sultan Murad II of the Ottomans fought against John Hunyadi at the Second Battle of Kosovo that same year and was victorious. Murad II died in 1451, and his son Mehmed II became Sultan. So now we've got some new names. Okay. Then Vladislav II, the previous Wallachian ruler who had been installed by Hunyadi, like after Vlad II had been killed. This was before Vlad III retook the place. He returns with an army from the Battle of Kosovo and forces Vlad III to flee. So I told you he got the throne. Vlad III was on the throne for a little bit of time, and then Vladislav comes back with an army, and he's like, get out. So Vlad returns initially to the Ottoman territory. But for the next several years, he lives in Moldavia and Hungary. Relations between John Hunyadi alongside the Hungarians and Vladislav II later deteriorated, giving Vlad III motivation to plan another invasion of Wallachia. He's like, oh, this is my time to take it back. Now, so we don't get confused, there's the Hungarians, and Hunyadi is head over Transylvania. So they're allied, trying to push back the Ottomans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In 1456, John Hunyadi died. Now, his son, Matthias Corvinus, great name, by the way, he becomes king of Hungary. Soon after Hunyadi's death, Vlad III invaded and attacked Wallachia, to take it back. Vladislav II was betrayed by some of his own men, and after defeated, he was assassinated. So no more Vladislav. No more Dan. So Vlad Dracula, Vlad III, if you will, is on the throne of Wallachia again. Now, as for his brother that was held hostage with him back in the day due to his father, Radu, the handsome, the one I kept thinking about, Ragu, he converted to Islam and actually remained loyal to the Ottomans throughout all of this period. But this would not be the trend for Vlad. At least for a little while, though, Vlad remained loyal to the Ottomans, paying an annual tribute of 10,000 gold ducats. Is it ducats? I think it's ducats.
Ducats.
It's not ducats. Is it ducats?
It's a currency?
Yeah.
I think it's ducats.
Ducats.
Yeah. Ducats. Sounds like Graham Norton.
Ducats.
Ducats.
No, I don't like that. Not a fan of that. Anyway.
Ducats. Hey, let us know in the comments or whatever. Somebody send us a scathing correction.
Sounds like buckets.
Ducats.
Buckets of ducats. I'm sorry. Look, I don't like our currency either. It looks boring and stupid, and we have a bunch of presidents who did a bunch of horrible things on it. So
do the Brits.
I just wanted to make it, equal. That I'm not saying ours is better. It's not.
No.
It's just a fun thing to say. Ducats. Now, sometimes, but he would sometimes deliver the tribute to the Sultan's court in person, honestly. Now, he stopped paying this tribute in 1459, and this was seen by the Ottomans as an act of rebellion. The Sultan, Mehmed II, later in 1460, sent 2 men to confront and collect the tribute from Vlad, but he still refused to pay, and then he had the 2 men impaled instead.
Okay.
Now, it's during this reign that he earns the nickname the Impaler. The guy might have been a sociopath. Cannot confirm. This was like mid-1400s, not like the DSM was hanging around. But his reputation really depends on who you ask, because many Romanians have seen him as a hero of sorts for his pushback against the Ottoman Turks at the time. So to them, he was a hero in that way, but he was also known for his cruelty. He was ruthless in war, and he had enough determination to keep taking on the Ottomans and anyone who stood between him and leadership of Wallachia. But he did have quite the penchant for gore and quite a hobby for torture and impaling, hence the name. And this is where things might get a little gory, so I'll let you decide whether to put something there or not, okay? You probably have a better understanding of... To me, I read macabre stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know. Now, in April of 1459, Vlad III attacked the Transylvania city of Brasov, where he burned homes and buildings, pillaged, and had a lot of men, women, and children impaled on stakes near the chapel of St. Jacob. An account published in Nuremberg in 1499 showed Vlad Dracula requesting a table be set up near the scene of the impaling so he could eat lunch among those slowly dying on the stakes. He was even said to have dipped his bread in the blood from those suffering before eating it.
Okay. Chewing gum is really gross.
Chewing gum, I hate the most. Now this gets even worse. Impalement meant either horizontally, like through the midsection, front to back, or vertically, as in through a lower orifice and out the top of the body or even the mouth.
What?
And the stake would usually be rounded instead of pointy to avoid a quick death.
Oh, God.
And if you really pissed Vladdy Boy off, you could be impaled upside down. Told you. He's a little crazy.
Okay.
On or near Easter of 1459, he went especially after the boyars, the aristocratic ruling class that had buried his brother alive, in the past.
Mm-hmm.
He had heard rumor of some of them wanting to usurp him, somehow, and he wasn't about to have it. He summoned them to his castle in Targovist. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And 500 of them apparently gathered there. I like how people are just like, this guy hates me. Let's go. Anyway. So he reportedly interrogated them with some strange or rather rhetorical questions, and then he had them and their family members that were in attendance arrested and impaled alive with one another in the courtyard. He left the bodies there as a sort of warning for others thinking of coming after his throne.
Yep. Game of Thrones stuff right there.
In 1461, there were some reports that Vlad was considering an alliance with Matthias Corvinus, and Mehmed, the Ottoman Sultan dude, was not okay with this scenario. You see what I mean, though? They just keep going back. Like, you want an ally this time? How about you? Okay, I'll see you next year. You know what I mean? It's like, pick a side.
Again, Game of Thrones.
It's a lot of political stuff going on. Mm-hmm. But I feel like in order to understand, you kind of need to know where his alliance is at the times that he does things. So there were reports that he was considering this alliance with Hungary, if you will. And the Ottoman Sultan dude was not okay with this scenario. He put out orders for Vlad to be captured. So once Vlad hears of this plan of Mehmed II's, he ends up capturing and impaling some more Ottoman officials. And then he launched an attack on Ottoman territory nearby. It's like he hears about it and he's like, I'm so mad. Impale, Because can nobody talk anything out? Can they not
I can see him laying on a therapist's couch like, and the next thing I know, I impaled him, another guy. I don't know. Like, I just...
this was Nandor's problem. I just wouldn't relent. It's like... But, like, couldn't you settle some of this over a game of chess or something? I don't know. It's weird, right? These men, they just want money and power, which sounds familiar. Just saying. So, yeah. He goes after the Ottoman territory after hearing of these plans. By the next year, big mad Mehmed and has his army go out and invade Wallachia. There's a lot of invading involved in this story. But Vlad surprises them at night using some guerrilla warfare tactics. He did fail his attempt to kill the Ottoman Sultan, and Mehmed II was able to take Wallachia, setting up Vlad's brother, Radu, the handsome, Ragu, as the new leader. Okay, so now he's in charge. You gotta, like, the people of Wallachia are like, who's in charge again? What year is it? Who's leading us this time? Did it change yet? Again? I don't know what's happening. It was hard time. It was hard times.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the best of times. It was the worst of times.
That'd be a great opening for a book.
So later that same year, Vlad made it out to the king of Hungary, Matthias Corvinus, to discuss an alliance against the Ottomans. So now he's going back to Hungary. Like, hey, buddy. No, we've had some issues. You want to team up again? So it didn't go well for him, and they actually imprisoned him in Hungary for like over a decade. It was like 14 years. They just shoved him in a prison, and then we're like, I imagine Matthias was not keen on Vlad's tendency to only look out for himself and to turn on those he allies with, and, the whole impaling people and stuff. It was said that while Vlad was imprisoned there, he would catch mice, cut them up, and impale them on bits of wood like he had people. Because he was, but a psychopath,
Rude.
Rule of Wallachia would shift between Radu the Handsome and Basarab the Elder. Just like these titles, This was until Radu died in 1475. He was no longer handsome.
And that's when his handsomeness stopped.
Now he's Radu the Dead. Then it was just Basarab until Basarab's cousin, Basarab IV, comes in like, hey, I want to turn. Now the latter, Basarab IV, was supported by Transylvania leader at the time, Stefan Bathory. That name should sound familiar.
Bathory, you say?
This is actually, let me make sure I get this right. Let's see. Yes, Elizabeth Bathory was his niece. So there's connections, here.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. So, Basarab IV had support from Stefan Bathory of Transylvania. But the other Basarab, I don't know how you don't just confuse them. Like, which one are we supporting again? I forget. He had Ottoman Empire support. Now, Transylvania dude, he goes to Matthias, the Hungarian dude, at this point, with an idea to let out Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, whatever, from prison, so that they might depose Basarab the Elder, because they want Basarab the Fourth. Okay. These names, they're killing me. So Vlad gets released, but before he can take back Wallachia, Basarab makes peace with Stefan of Transylvania.
Okay.
It's just so much back and forth, right? So he is still freed, but he moves to Transylvania in 1475, where he only stayed a little while before he settled in Hungary, where he bought a house called Dracula Haza, Hungarian for House of Dracula, if you will. He was later sent to fight with the Hungarians. They let him out of prison. I guess they're going to be like, hey, now you work for us. Against the Ottomans in Bosnia in 1476, where he resorted to old habits of torture and impaling enemy soldiers and civilians.
The way you rolled your eyes.
Yeah. Now, the Ottomans around this time are doing their own raid against Moldavia. Vlad and Transylvania dude, Stefan Bathory, go to Moldavia to help fight back the Ottomans, and they succeed in getting them to leave. Vlad secures Moldavia's friendship this way, that he can ally with them. The Hungarians, Vlad and Moldavia, then invade Wallachia later in 1476, running off Basarab the Elder, who went crying to the Ottomans.
Okay.
Because he had their support, right? I tried to make this as simple as possible, so I hope it's making sense. There were just so many Basarabs and Vlads and everything else, right?
But we have a link to a PDF flowchart.
I should make one. I'll get on that. So, yeah. While given the throne to Wallachia again, Vlad would only keep it this time for another year before he was killed when Basarab the Elder returned with the Ottomans in another attack on Wallachia in 1477. I feel like Wallachia is that city in Hercules. Where are they at? It's a well-known city. Phil, he takes Hercules to this city because it's known for its problems. It's got a lot of problems. Thebes. Takes him to Thebes. And there's that, they're like, there was this, and then there was the earthquake, and then there was the fire, and then one more thing happens, and the old guy's like, that's it, I'm moving to Sparta. It's like, I feel like this place is Thebes, right? Like Wallachia is just Thebes right now. Mm-hmm. Probably a lot of places were Thebes. So there are a couple of conflicting accounts of how Vlad died. The Austrian chronicler of the day, Jacob Unrest, that was his name. unrest.
Okay.
Just feels like a cursed statement, but he stated that a disguised Turkish assassin murdered Vlad in his camp. In a differing account, Russian statesman Fyodor Kurtsin, who interviewed Vlad's family after his demise, of course, way back when, reported that the leader was mistaken for a Turk by his own troops during battle, causing them to attack and kill him.
That boy's a Turk.
Now, more modern historians, this guy is also named Radu Florescu and Raymond T. McNally. More modern, I think this was like in the 80s when they were talking about this kind of stuff, but they commented on this account by noting that Vlad had often disguised himself as a Turkish soldier as part of his military ruses, because he would do things like that. According to Leonardo Botta, the Milanese ambassador to Buda, the Ottomans cut Vlad's corpse into pieces. His head was sent to Mehmed of the Ottomans, where it was displayed on a stake in Constantinople for some time before being buried in Voivoda Kadesi in Istanbul, Turkey. It is traditionally said that the rest of his body was found by monks in the Snagov marshes. His burial site remains unknown, but there have been some ideas of where to search. He was once thought to have been buried on the grounds of the Snagov monastery, but the excavations carried out by Dinu Rossetti in 1933 found no tomb below the supposed unmarked tombstone of Vlad in the monastery church. Rossetti reported, and so his words, under the tombstone attributed to Vlad, there was no tomb, only many bones and jaws of horses. Another possible burial site is at the Komana Monastery, which is close to where he died. Now, during his time as leader, I wanted to get through the historical stuff before I go over stuff that's not attached to years, but just in his reign as in general. Mm-hmm. But during his time as leader, Vlad Dracula was also known for his love of burning things. Sorry, but isn't that like part of the psychopathic triangle thing, right?
Yeah.
Serial killer trifecta right there. He loved to burn things. Burning and impaling. I'm just saying. Some red flags. But yeah. Anyway, he reportedly had the people of the villages and towns he invaded roasted alive, because why not? A specifically cruel incident involved him inviting those considered lame, poor, or beggars to his great hall to a feast that he'd prepared. After allowing them to eat and drink their fill, he locked them inside and ordered the building to be set on fire. Why? According to him, these men live off the sweat of others, so they are useless to humanity.
Okay.
This story is mentioned in several 15th century sources. So,
wow.
There are many 15th century stories of both German and Slavic origin listing and retelling his many acts of cruelty, and one he had 2 monks impaled to assist their journey to heaven, according to him. Mm-hmm. Then he had their donkey impaled when it wouldn't stop braying for its masters. Okay. And as someone who loves animals, that particularly pissed me off.
That's rough.
Like, obviously, I hate that he killed the people too, but really? Like, how did this guy not die earlier? The stories about Vlad's plundering raids in Transylvania were clearly based on eyewitness accounts because they contain accurate details, including the lists of churches destroyed by Vlad and the dates of the raids. They described Vlad as a demented psychopath, a sadist, a gruesome murderer, a masochist, worse than Caligula and De Niro, which is saying something. A set of about 19 stories concerning Vlad Dracula were compiled in a Russian monastery around 1490. One such tale was of 2 Hungarian monks who had visited him during his leadership, and Vlad showing them his various methods of torture and killing via impalement. He asked the monks their opinion on his methods, and, of course, he's asking them this because he's messing with them, right? And one expressed horror and called him merciless, while the other approved of his dealing with evildoers. The second was reportedly sent home with gold. The other Vlad had impaled for not agreeing with him. I guess,
That's right.
In 1492, when the Ottomans under Mehmed II were on their way to fight Vlad Dracula and his men, they met with a nightmarish scene. About an hour away from their destination was a mile-long field of stakes on which Dracula had impaled over 20,000 Ottoman men, women, and children. According to their accounts, even babies had been impaled with their mothers.
Okay.
And a man of high rank among the Ottomans had been impaled on a taller stake than the rest. after having his arms and legs cut off.
Yikes.
Yeah. It was brutal. Depending on who you are, things get worse, so take a breath. He was also known for having his victims' feet flayed or skinned, then covered in salt, and then he would let goats lick them. There were also stories of the 15th century that allege Vlad Dracula had a giant cauldron in his castle that had a lid with a hole in the center of it. He was said to have water boiled in the cauldron and then would have a prisoner tipped upside down over it so that his head fit into the hole. He would allegedly boil people alive, which I hate to say was not so uncommon, a story of monarchs elsewhere as well. In one story about Vlad and his little cauldron, he had 300 locals boiled or roasted alive in separate batches. Those not yet killed in this way would be forced to eat the meat of those who had just been killed before them.
What? I can't get my head around that.
Yeah. I wouldn't even try. Just telling you details. He was also said to have children cooked and force their mothers to eat them. Then he would have the mothers' breasts cut off and fed to their husbands.
I think we're dealing with mental illness. This guy is.
I'm pretty sure he had a lot of that, yeah. There are even more stories of Vlad Dracula poisoning wells, sending people to kill the livestock of enemies as a strategy to leave the enemy without transport and food. He was also said to have had locals with diseases such as syphilis, leprosy, tuberculosis, and plague disguise themselves with Turkish fashion and intermingle with the enemy soldiers. So he was, dude was practicing germ warfare as well. He was also known for his guerrilla warfare tactics.
Wow.
While he had some real enemies, Vlad also had those killed that were just perceived enemies to him. According to some sources, 40,000 to 100,000 were killed by him in just 6 years. It's hard to differentiate between accurate and exaggerated stories about the man due to the amount of time since passed, obviously, and how much just some hated and feared the man. Still, there are plenty of eyewitness accounts, letters, and written records alongside the tales told by oral tradition. A lot of them were written back in the 15th century. When it comes to the fictional tale of Dracula by Bram Stoker, which was published in 1897, the main inspiration was actually the Romanian folklore of blood-sucking vampires, which he had read about in an 1885 article by Emily Gerhardt titled Transylvanian Superstitions. He also used history from William Wilkinson's 1820 book, Account of the Principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia, with political observations relative to them. That is a hefty book title. So it's likely there that he learned about Vlad Dracula, or at least got the name, and he took the name for his character. Now, he was believed to really not know all that much about Vlad III, which is ironic that, he would have taken the name and used it for his monster, if you will, because Vlad III, Dracula, was a monster. I do want to mention just a few short stories concerning vampires that have become legend. These are way shorter, not as complicated. A few of them are actually set here in the U.S., namely Louisiana. Actually, both of these are set in Louisiana. But the state, and especially the city of New Orleans, is known for its mystery and spiritual history and, just air, as you know, as well as the food. I mean, go for the food. It is old. It's full of hauntings and superstition and such if you listen to the legends. Now, one such legend is of a man named Jacques Saint-Germain. According to the stories about Jacques, he moved to New Orleans from France in 1902. He was wealthy, popular among the aristocracy of the day. He would entertain them with these fancy dinner parties, but he never ate food at these events. He was really wealthy, mysterious, so of course he became a source of gossip and rumor among the people, and it was said that he was a womanizer who enjoyed meeting young women in the French Quarter most nights.
Ew.
One night, there were screams coming from his home, and a woman jumped from his second-story window, fleeing from the house. She told those nearby that she had been attacked by Jacques and that he had bitten her on the neck. His home was later searched, and police found bloodstains and wine bottles full of blood in the home, but no Jacques. The woman was said to have later died at the hospital, as the story goes. Now, he is a local legend, and people still claim to see him around, looking as young as ever and still trying to bite people. You can actually visit his alleged house and stop at a bar nearby for a cocktail named in his honor. There you go. Lastly, there is this other legend in New Orleans concerning the Casket Girls. They've been sort of turned into this vampire story.
All right.
But this is an older tale based on a historic custom formed in the 17th century. King Louis the 14th started this program to send girls to New France, which would have been in Canada at this point, with the intention of boosting the population there. Most of those who originally emigrated to New France were men, so this did work. They didn't, without the women, you can't exactly have kids, right? To keep population going. So they would send these women there. These were also known then as the King's Daughters. This was also instituted in Louisiana for the same purpose, this same sort of custom, but they were known as filles à la cassette. Hoping I'm saying that right. It's been a long time since I've taken French. So they were called this because of the small cases they carried their belongings in. These were women who were chosen by church charitable institutions. They were poor, but guaranteed to be respectable. Such women were sent from France to New Orleans in 1728, as well as a few other parts of the Southeast U.S. in different years before this. But now the 23 that reportedly arrived in New Orleans came on a ship named La Pélican. I'm not sure they say pelican there the same way.
The Pélican.
The Pélican.
Les poissons.
They were also called Pelican Girls as a result, and because of that. And these were between the ages of 14 and 19, which that had to be terrifying. Like 14 years old, going to the States to marry a man I've never met.
Brother.
Hopefully. I don't know. Unfortunately, on the way to New Orleans, the ship had stopped in or near Cuba, and some of the girls had been bitten by mosquitoes, because that's what happens around here, in this area of the world. Mosquitoes, which we've talked about. And these mosquitoes happened to be carrying yellow fever. 2 died after reaching their destination. There was a small epidemic there as a result. They kind of brought it over with them at that point. Now, this bit of history turned into myth once the term cassette got translated to casket. Somewhere down the line. Now, according to the myths and legends of the casket girls, they arrived pale and looked sick. Now, this likely comes from the fact that the actual girls arrived with yellow fever in the story. They wouldn't have looked great, probably. The pale sight of them, plus the word casket in their names, led to many rumors of these girls being vampires. Now, according to some of the rumors, they were housed by the Ursuline order of nuns there in town, and their casket resembling luggage, because they confused the word with casket, was stored in the attic. They were to be there until they found suitable husbands, apparently. After their arrival, there were these mysterious deaths about the city, and the nuns had grown suspicious of the girls. So they went up to check the coffin-shaped luggage, whatever, and saw that instead of containing clothing or other items, they were empty. This was inferred by the nuns and others as either the girls being vampires themselves, and the cause of these deaths, or that the girls had smuggled vampires in via the caskets. How is that happening? They're carrying it like a handbag, and maybe they're in bat form. Bat? You know what I mean? How is that? How are they carrying these vampires with them? That's weird, right?
That's funny.
That doesn't make any sense. But so the nuns were said to have had the shutters nailed shut with nails blessed by the Pope. Is that a thing? Does the Pope bless nails? Depending on the story, this action was taken to either seal in the vampires to keep the city safe or to keep them out. You can visit the convent today, but one bit of evidence for the story not being true is the fact that the timing of the girls' arrival and the building of the convent don't exactly match up. The convent would not have been there yet. The Ursulines did not arrive until 1728, and the convent was not built until between 1752 and 1753. So it's just a myth that formed out of this custom that had been actually real, but instead of cassette, they were like caskets.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but those are just a couple of legends that we have down here in the southeast of vampires. And I had to include something that was less gory. Sure. Here we go. Sorry for the gore. No more gore. The gore
Okay.
is no more.
All right.
So I hope that was educational.
Twas.
Also, happy Halloween.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for listening and watching.
Don't piss off Laddie.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.